Good day, traders. Welcome back to Fides Trading Channel, and we are back again with another Fides Flows video. Today is the 25th of June 2025 on this lovely Wednesday, filled with rain and wind, but nonetheless we get our analysis done. Within the Fides Flows videos, I do a deep dive into the price action and fundamentals behind gold, Nas100 and Us30, giving you a clear roadmap for the trading week ahead. Using higher time frame analysis, I identify key zones, momentum shifts, and trend structures, and then combine that with real-time macroeconomic drivers such as interest rates, inflation data, and market sentiment. So whether you're a swing trader or day trader, this breakdown helps you understand what's really moving these markets and where high probability setups might form. Starting with the gold chart, we're on the 4-hour time frame. What we can see is bearish trend within our key level zones, being the lines in orange. So we can see these pivot levels that we had a bit of a spike up yesterday around 3 o'clock. Markets moved up. Thought we would tap into this break and retest zone, but we see it around 7 this morning on the 4-hour chart. Price actually turned around. So we're seeing bearish trend because we have lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low price action structures, followed by price trading below the 50 SMA and price trading within the bearish range of the RSI, adding to bearish momentum. Now, despite price being bearish on the 4-hour time frame, on the daily, we are still seeing bullish consolidative structures. So the overall trend is still bullish. However, we are looking for intraday opportunities. And from what we can observe, the bearish trend is still very much intact. Now, price is trading between these two zones of 3351 and 3300, currently making a move to the downside. So just dropping into the 1-hour time frame, we can see price is still trading below the 50 SMA, and we're very much trading in the bearish region of the RSI. Now there was a prime opportunity right here to get in for a short position at around 10 in the morning. After this confirmation candle here, unfortunately I didn't take that trade, but I will be looking to see how price reacts to the 3300 level, and if we could potentially get a bounce to the upside and a completion of this W pattern that may be forming here. What am I looking at? It's just boom. So we can see W pattern formation. So in line with the long-term trend that we're seeing on the daily time frame and continuing the bullish tradition, this is the higher low level from the higher time frame analysis, and for that reason I do believe that the support level will hold and we could see a bounce to the upside. If there's a break below the support level, I will obviously readjust my analysis to continue looking for short positions. But until that time, I see this level as holding strong. We've had multiple tests of this 3300 level as support, and I see no reason why it should break now. We have 3 confirmed touches, and that does add validity that this is a very strong level where buyers are sitting. Also, to add extra confluence, we see that the futures price is at 3330 and current price is at 3315, which is a 15-point difference to the upside, adding to the bullish confluence which we are currently looking at. So in the short term, we could potentially still see 16 points move to the downside before we get a bounce to the upside from that 3300 level. Moving on to US Tech, we're seeing that US Tech continues to make massive bullish moves to the upside. On the 4-hour time frame, we can see that price is comfortably trading above the 50 SMA at the moment, and we have broken past this 22,000 level, which acted as a resistance barrier for a few weeks. Now, that being said, price is also trading in the overextended territory of the RSI above 70. So it is clear that despite the bullish trend we are in the overextended territory and we are in need of a retracement to the downside. What would I be looking for in this retracement? I'm just going to delete this price on here. Yes. So what would I be looking for in this retracement? Well, on the 4-hour time frame for trend confirmation, I would be expecting price to come back down and either test this 22,000 or 22,050 level, or potentially this break and retest zone here at 21,800. Now, depending on how much momentum is behind this retracement and the bearish move will determine how exactly I will enter the long position at the bounce. So potentially we could see a move down here before bounce to the up there, before bounce to the upside. Let me just get that properly. Bang, bounce to the upside. Or I could potentially see it bouncing off that 22,050 level, which has broken and maybe a break and retest. So it's all a matter of time before we're waiting for the retracement, but as it stands, this pair is currently at an impulse move and not providing much opportunities for entry. On the 1 hour time frame, we can see that this price level is trading well above the 50 SMA, and we're very much tapping that overextended region on the RSI here as well. No signs of a retracement just yet, but I'll be waiting for the retracement to get back within that sweet spot region, potentially at the 22,050 level, where I can then expect a bounce to the upside. Taking a look at US30, we're on the 4 hour time frame. We can also see strong bullish momentum coming out of here for this past week. Markets have had strong moves to the upside. We haven't created any new structure yet, but price is trading above the 50 SMA, and we are in the overextended territory of the RSI, currently creating a bit of a consolidation zone here, as we can see a bit of indecision candles as well as bearish engulfing, spinning top patterns that are currently being formed. Overall trend is bullish, so I am looking for trades to the upside. The levels I'm looking at trades at, moving into the 1 hour time frame, we could potentially see a retracement and a test of the 42,800 level, where we currently have wick rejections here. Price moves down, tests that level, pushes back up. On the 4 hour time frame, we could also potentially see a retracement towards the 42,400, but this is a very, very deep retracement point and could potentially collect a lot of liquidity, but it also could shift the market towards bearish nature, bearish momentum again. That being said, price does have a lot of liquidity in the zone, so if markets do break below that 42,800 level, I would expect the 42,400 level to be the perfect place for a break and retest. So bang and then bang to the upside. However, we need to wait for the retracement to actually kick in, and it hasn't. We're waiting for a break of this consolidation to confirm if the bulls still have firm control or if the bears are stepping in and we're going to see a drop in this market. On the 1 hour time frame, we are seeing that momentum is dying out a little bit, and we are approaching that sweet spot region. So we could potentially see that 42,800 as a prime candidate on the 1 hour time frame for a bounce to the upside. Taking a look at the VIX index, we can actually see that the VIX has gone from 18.17 yesterday towards 17.07, and it is clear that investors are in more of a riskier mindset. They're on a risk-on territory, and they're comfortable taking long positions with indices while continuing to short gold. At least that's how the charts reads. But yesterday, very interesting situation where both gold and the indices were moving up simultaneously. But for now, investors are definitely risk on, and we will be looking for indices to have more of a pop to the upside. Now, let's just take a quick look at the news for the day. As we can observe, current price points, we can see we have Fed Powell testifies. It's the second day of his testimony today. So we will see how that impacts the dollar movements in indices and gold. Coming back to the charts, I just want to take a look at the news headlines coming out of gold. Let's see what they have to say. Gold currently has 180K of volume in the market, and most of the indices point towards further sell opportunities. Taking a look at headlines. Gold edges down as Powell says Fed likely to keep interest rates steady. Exchange-traded funds higher. Equity futures mixed bell, pre-bell Wednesday amidst easing tensions in the Middle East. Gold steadies on Wednesday. European stocks slip, dollar steadies as investors assess Israel-Iran truce. Gold futures rise on lingering safe haven demand. Gold price solid on its fundamentals. Gold rate today. Gold futures recover some losses from ceasefire sell-off. Okay, so it is clear that there are some future increases in the gold prices. However, overall sentiment does remain to the downside. with people looking at the ceasefire and taking their monies out of safe havens and looking for more riskier assets. Taking a look at US tech news for the day, I just want to see if there's anything here. Current volume in the market is 135.39K, and the range, nothing too much going on in the range. For today's news, we see Nas set to open higher as Middle East tensions cool, Powell in focus. U.S. stocks futures ready as Middle East tensions cool, Powell in focus. Okay, I said that. Fed rate bet surge as oil calms. U.S. future stocks subdued as Middle East tensions cool. Wall Street rallies. NASDAQ boosts record close. Yes, yesterday we had a massive move in the NASDAQ. I didn't really see it, but I guess it was there. And then Wall Street ends sharply. Okay, cool. So we definitely have some positive news coming out of Nas100. Moving on to Us30, we have 43.46K, so not a lot of volume in this market today. US equities, futures rises ahead of Powell testimony. Nas set to open higher. Yeah, we said that. Okay, so it is clear that from an indices perspective, there's positive news coming out of indices, while gold has a bit of negative sentiment behind it, which makes sense in the context of what we've observed in the VIX index, etc. So make sure you do your research on fundamentals, make sure your strategy is aligned, make sure you're following your strategy to the T, and I wish you all the best and hope you'll make some serious profits today. With that, I wish you a very successful trading day, and I'll catch you in the next videos, traders. Cheers.